If you really want to hear about it, the first thing you'll probably want to know is where I was born and what my childhood was like, and how my parents were occupied before they had me and all that David Copperfield kind of crap, but I don't feel like going into it if you want to know the truth. Besides, I'm not going to tell you my whole goddamn autobiography or anything. I'll just tell you about this madman stuff that happened to me around last Christmas, just before I got pretty run down and had to come out here and take it easy. This story begins while I was still at Pensy Prep, and I'd just gotten back from a fencing tournament. I forgot all the equipment on the subway though, and boy, was the team mad at me. But I bought a new hat while I was there, and it was only $1. Anyway, I was on my way to visit my history teacher, Mr. Spencer, to say goodbye, because I was being kicked out of Pensy for failing almost all my classes. He kept telling me that I was not going to have a good future if I didn't start following the rules and doing my work. He was a phony guy though, so I left soon after. I went back to my dorm and started reading a book, but was interrupted by my schoolmate Robert Ackley, who bothered me until my roommate Ward Stradlater came into our room. Ackley left, and Stradlater told me that he was going on a date with a girl named Jane Gallagher, who used to be my neighbor. Before old Stradlater left, he asked me to write an English composition for him. When he got back, he read the composition and told me that I wrote about the wrong topic, so I ripped up the goddamn composition. Old Stradlater angered the hell out of me, so I punched him. He punched me back though and gave me a bloody nose. That night, I decided to leave Pensy early and go to New York. I took the train and rented a room at a hotel. I took a taxi to the hotel and asked the driver where the ducks go during the winter, but he didn't give me an answer. While I was at my hotel, I felt lonely and depressed as hell. I decided to head to the hotel lounge and have a drink, where I ended up dancing with a few phony girls. While returning to my room, the elevator man asked me if I wanted a prostitute. I was still feeling depressed, so I agreed. When she arrived, I told her that I had just had an operation on my clavichord, because I didn't really feel like doing anything. Wait 1 second. So you had an operation on your clavichord, which is a musical instrument? Anyways, the next morning I phoned up old Sally Hayes to make a date. We went to go see a play, but it was full of phony actors. After that, I insulted her and she left. Later that night, I went to go look for the ducks, but they weren't there. It was so cold, and I thought I had hypothermia, and I pictured myself dying. Phoebe would be so upset if I died, so I snuck into our apartment to go see her. She realized that I had been kicked out of school and asked me what I wanted to do in life. I told her that I wanted to be a catcher in the rye. I gave her my hunting hat. So, let me get this straight. You're going to prevent kids from becoming adults by catching them just because you're afraid of becoming an adult? Yeah. Okay. I went to go visit my former English teacher, Mr. Antolini. He kept warning me that I was going to have a terrible fall, and I did listen to him, but I was so tired that I eventually fell asleep while he was talking to me. Sometime in the middle of the night, I felt a hand stroking my head and woke up. Mr. Antolini was petting my head like a goddamn pervert, so I left. I decided that I wanted to leave New York, but I couldn't leave without seeing Phoebe, so I left a note for her to come meet me at the museum. When she showed up, she brought this huge goddamn suitcase with her so she could come with me. That just killed me. I told her she couldn't come with me, and I brought her to the zoo so she could ride the carousel. She gave me back my hat, and we walked home together. I realized that I couldn't be the catcher in the rye, and I can't stop kids from growing up. That's all I'm going to tell about. Oh, really? Well, couldn't you tell us what happened after you went home, and how you got sick, and what school you're supposed to go to in the fall? I'm sorry I told so many people about it. It's funny. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody.